To set the front face angle, unclamp the grinding head and remove the pin. Rotate the grinding head so the pin goes through the desired hole and into the slot. Then reclamp the grinding head. Repeat this procedure to set the top face angle. Pull and turn the latch pin to disengage the cylinder. Unscrew the side clamp knobs on both clamps, then swing the clamp arms up. You can clamp the arm in the up position. Make sure the bed knife is clean. Place the bed knife assembly on the supports so that the back edge of the bed knife is aligned with the back end of the shaft support on the left side. Lower the arms and tighten the side clamps into their slots. Then tighten the clamp. Loosen the large wing nut and reposition the rear supports up or down. Then retighten the wing nut. Make sure the bed knife is seated flat and not on a screw head. To position the pallet, unclamp the toe clamps on both ends. Then slide the pallet up or back until the top face stone is positioned properly over the bed knife. To ensure the pallet is properly seated, lift and rock the right end of the pallet, then set it back down. Retighten the left toe clamp first, then retighten the right toe clamp. To more easily see what you are grinding, mark the faces of the blade. To adjust the front face of the bed knife, infeed the front face stone so the grinding stone just touches the bed knife at the closest point. Move the carriage to the other end of the bed knife, loosen the clamp, then loosen and adjust the jack screw until you have the same contact on both ends of the bed knife. Then lock the jack screw and retighten the clamp. Double check the contact on the front face of the bed knife. Then back off the front face grinding stone. Infeed the top face grinding stone and check the top face of the bed knife. This will vary depending on the bed knife wear. Collect one of each of the different bed knives you will be grinding and install its pivot bolts. Load each bed knife as shown previously. Install the pins in a sliding nut at each end. Then position the nuts so the pins are up against the back of the bed knife pivot bolts. Then lock the nut in position. Repeat this procedure with all of your bed knives until you have all of the nuts positioned. To fine-tune your nut positions, first remove the bed knife. Then mount a magnetic base dial indicator in the hood and position it so that its stem is touching one of the pins. Find the high point on the pin and set the dial indicator to 0. Move the carriage so the dial indicator is touching the other pin. Loosen the sliding nut. Reposition the nut front to back until the dial indicator is reading 0. Then lock the sliding nut. Double check that your dial indicator reads within a couple thousandths at both ends. Repeat this procedure for each of your bed knives. Insert the pins in the appropriate sliding nuts. Install the pivot bolts into the Bedknife and make sure they are properly seated. Place the Bedknife on the pallet and slide it back until the pivot bolts are seated against the alignment pins. Then clamp the Bedknife in place. Install the pivot bolts into the Bedknife and make sure they are properly seated. Unclamp and slide the V-blocks so they support the pivot bolts and are centered on the pallet. Then tighten the clamps. Position the center support bolt under the Bedknife. If this is the first time grinding this style Bedknife, adjust the center support bolt so the bottom of the Bedknife is level. Engage the carriage latch into the cylinder and set the travel stops. Position the coolant nozzle and check its flow. Then shut the door. Start the top face grinding motor, the carriage travel, then adjust your speed. Infeed the top face grinding wheel until it begins to grind. Once you're grinding evenly all the way across the top face, turn the front face grinding motor on and infeed it until it begins to grind. When the front face is done, back off the front face grinding stone and turn off the front face grinding motor. Continue grinding the top face until it is done. Then let it spark out until you get an even, light grind all the way across the Bedknife, paying special attention to the ends. The ends will flex more and grind less and will take longer to spark out. When it's done, turn the grinder off and remove the Bedknife. For the front face stone, move the grinding stone until it just clears the dresser. Close the door, turn the grinding motor on, then infeed the grinding head and pivot the diamond dresser. Continue until no sparks come from the grinding stone. Turn the grinder off. On the top face stone, move the grinding head again until it just clears the dresser. Close the doors. And turn the grinding motor on. Again, infeed the grinding head and pivot the diamond dresser. Continue until no sparks come from the grinding stone. Turn the grinder off.